All right, Ron, what happens to Don't Ask, Don't Tell?
Don't Ask, Don't Tell it does appear to have had, as Gene said, a bit of a phoenix rise. They didn't have the 60 votes to get the authorization bill through that it was attached to for the Defense Department. Sensibly enough, it's a military policy. And this was part of the reason, but not the whole reason, they had problems with the defense authorization bill. So surprisingly, Joe Lieberman and Susan Collins, former Democrat, now independent Lieberman, and Republican Collins, got together as the two people who run the Government Affairs and Anti-Terrorism Committee, essentially, and said, look, we really want to get this done. We want to get it done. We think we have the votes. We think we have 60 votes just for this individual policy. Forget the rest of the Pentagon and all the other policies. Let's just bring this up freestanding. Well, that didn't look like it had much of a chance to fly, but they have held together virtually all the Democrats, maybe one defection, maybe one person who will be unable to come for medical reasons. They think they can get 54 Democrats, 56 when you count the two independents, and then they think they've got 4 Republican votes. Collins and her colleague from Maine, Olympia Snow, Scott Brown, the new senator who replaced Ted Kennedy from Massachusetts, and Lisa Murkowski, who was just miraculously elected by write-in in Alaska. She would be here anyway as a sitting senator in this lame duck session, but she appears to be providing that magic 60th vote by which they can invoke cloture and apparently approve a repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
I think when you look at this grand bargain that was struck regarding this lame duck, this is amazing. This is an amazing journey for a piece of legislation. And talk about a victory for Barack Obama. If he can get rid of this, and Secretary of Defense Bill Gates, he is so anxious to get this passed so that he can manage any transition himself in the Pentagon on his timeline, and that is best and appropriate for the troops.
I want to clarify what you've just said. You're saying that once Bill Gates leaves, Bob Gates leaves, that Barack Obama will be able to manage things on his own terms? Is that what you're saying? Your conflation of adjectives there, I wasn't sure.
I think that the Pentagon, obviously the president could intervene if the president wants to intervene.
Sure.
But the leadership of the Pentagon wants to have control of this process. And if it's done by the courts, they won't have control of it. And they need, that is, I think, the driving force in the Senate that is moving this piece of legislation along. Gates came out with that study that reassured some senators that objections amongst the rank and file, while present, are not overwhelming, that they might be managed. And, Gates is the one who's pushing and pushing the Republicans to get on board.